Avoid this huge mistake that many keynote speakers make. Never, ever, ever again in your life make this mistake. What's the mistake, you ask? I'll paint the scenario. So you've been given 20 minutes to speak to a topic of choice. And in your magnanimity, because you're the subject matter, you love your audience, you want to give value, you decide to go with a topic like 8 ways to do dash, 7 ways to do dash, 10 highlights for, or maybe it's a youth conference and the topic or the theme of the day is empowering youths. And so you say 7 ways to empower youth using empower as your acronym. E for something, M for something, P for something, O for something, W for something, E for something, R for something. The problem is you have only 20 minutes. Do you see where the huge mistake is already? It's called information overload. Now, this mistake is so common. I can guarantee you that even today, whilst you're watching this video, somebody might be making this mistake somewhere where you're putting in so much information. I dare say too much information for the time given, except it's a YouTube video and you can watch it over and over again. But if it's a live presentation, virtually or in person, there are rules of thumb. If you know what I'm talking about, leave a comment right now and say, I know what you're talking about. Or drop a comment and tell us about where you've seen this happen. Or drop a comment and let us know if you've made this mistake before, because I know I have, but never again. So what are the downsides to information overload? Number one, your audience will be overwhelmed. Or should I say your audience could be overwhelmed, but they're very likely going to be overwhelmed. And when your audience is overwhelmed, what do? They disengage, they get distracted, they do other things besides listening to you, and we don't want that. Second thing that could happen with the information overload is your audience will forget. Even when you use an acronym like empower, they might remember the acronym, but they forget the words. They forget the meaning of the acronym. Oh, she spoke so well. Her acronym was empower. E was for engage. M was for what was that again? So in the long run, your presentation might be less effective because the audience is unable to remember, and it's difficult to implement what you don't remember. So did it pay off at the end of the day? The answer is no. Number 3 thing, I'll give you an extra. Number 3 thing that could go wrong when you overload your audience with information is you could be seen as incompetent. Why? Remember, they can't remember what you said. There was so much going on. They got disengaged, and so they were like, oh, she was talking too much. He was talking too much. Well, there's even a fourth. The fourth thing could be you would be reminded that your 20 minutes are up, and guess what? You're not done with your message. And so you can give me 3 more minutes. Give me 2 more minutes. And a 20-minute presentation is now getting to a 30, 35-minute presentation. People are tired. The owners or the organizers of the event are disappointed, and they go, we're not going to call her or call him back. We're not going to invite her or invite him again. And that's not what you want, my dear speaker. No, that's not what you want. What you want to do is use this rule of thumb. It is my rule of thumb, and I'm sharing it with you gladly. 5 minutes per point, no more. So if you're given 20 minutes to deliver a talk, 3 minutes might be your opening, 2 minutes your closing, and the 15 minutes in between will be for only 3 points, because 5 minutes per point. 5 minutes per point. If you have 30 minutes, you might have 5 minutes once again for opening and closing, and 25 minutes in between. Then you can talk about 5 points. Why? This gives you time to repeat your points. And because repetition is the law of deep and lasting impression, the more you can repeat your points, the more you can repeat your points in interesting ways, the more you can repeat your points in engaging ways that the audience will participate, the more they're likely to learn and remember the points. And that is the essence of the presentation. We want retention. We want the audience to remember your points enough to take action. So please make this commitment with me and write it in the chat now. I say, Joyce, I commit. I will commit to 5 minutes per point. So if I'm given 10 minutes to make a presentation, if I can control it and I am the keynote speaker, how many points would I be focusing on? Maximum 2, ideally 1. You have 5 minutes for opening and closing and 5 minutes to make that 1 point and make it again and again and again and kill it. Yes, because it's 5 minutes per point. If you must stretch it just a little, but I might not advise that. But of course, if you're on YouTube, you can spend as much time or as little time as you want with whatever points, because people can watch the video again and again and again. That's different from a live presentation. You don't want to make the mistake of information overload during a live presentation. No. So say with me, Joyce, I will never, ever, ever, ever again overload my audience with information. My name is Joyce Daniels, and it's been an honor having you here. See you again on my next video.